My camera was cotton picking slow. I didn't get Jerry getting in the boat. He's already in the boat. And it's the first time we fished together in many years, so we're going to go out and have a little fun today. Start that again.
We're down there out the bank of the creek.
Yeah.
He had one of these trolling motors, and I never fooled with it. I said I hooked a big redfish and told him to get up that trolling motor. He wouldn't do it. And anyway, he ended up breaking my fish off. And then the next day, he caught that big one. He handed me the remote to his trolling motor and told me to take the daggone trolling motor and follow that fish, rather than fighting that fish back to the daggone boat, which I didn't do. I said, I'm going to anchor it down, hit in the sand pole, and leave this trolling motor down. You fight that fish back.
Is that what he did to you?
That's my story on that one.
We fished our butts off, and we ain't got a fish in the boat yet. I think Jerry hooked one back in, a little bass or something up there earlier, but there is some little bit of cloud cover coming in, so maybe something will stick its head up here pretty soon. But I know a couple of points up here that are short points, not real broad, fish fairly quick, and they go all the way out to the river channel, that have been productive, so we'll go try them out. Went to the Dogfoot Dock.
He knew about it too.
Oh, this guy used to go years ago. I mean, back in the early '70s, at Laurel Yacht Club, he had an old houseboat there. Yeah. He would sink bales of hay, let them down there in the water. And you go out there. We go out there at night and take medicine fish down there. My God, you're about slaying the crappie. And Gary Smith had his uncle down there, and they were out catching these old crappie, and his uncle said, boy, I wonder why so daggum many right here. And I think Jerry said, it's a bale of hay. And he said, what? And he said, a bale of hay. And he said, what's a bale of hay? He said, a bale of hay. What is a bale of hay? You know, I didn't even have that camera turned on. Didn't have it recording. I do that all the time. I go out and I get home and I said, boy, I had some good footage for that one. I didn't have it turned. I didn't have it turned on. Oh, one of I think it's called a video I put up called Best Buck of the Year that I shot from my shooting house. I had this camera set up and I zoomed in on the buck. And I had this camera set up for me taking the shot. I forgot to turn this on. I zoomed right in on, but you can see the camera from this one. You can see the screen, and you can see the little buck in there, and you can see him fall at the shot. But I had it zeroed in, and I didn't even zoom it in. So I'm guilty.
Yep. He ain't a very big one, but he's a fish. First one I ever caught on a blade bait, so it's a special fish. Look at that beautiful catfish.
Oh, it's a freaking catfish.
Well, it don't matter. It's a fish.
Yeah, here, Jerry.
Yes, sir. It is a fish.
It's a fish. I'll be dogged. I was hoping it'd be a big striper. I got it's a fish anyway, yeah.
It is a fish.
And here's your some pliers to get rid of him with.
There you go.
You realize I'm going to throw you in the lake, don't you? If you skunk me. Oh. Well, they got some tough hides, don't they?
They are
Tough mouth. Hold him up here for all the world to see. Yeah.
Nice little catfish.
They make some good eating.
It would be.
Do you want to eat him?
Nope.
Throw him back in.
Nope.
Come on. I was hoping that was a big striper. Oh well. At least it was a fish.
It was a fish.
Yeah, he broke the ice. And I'm telling you, by golly, that was a thick chunk of ice. It's been thick ice down this section.
In a short cylinder period. So.
Yeah, boy. About 40 feet deep. My old buddy's treading on dangerous water. He's going to get his ass pitched in the lake there pretty soon. He's catching fish. Look at this. Nah, old Jerry, he's got something. Looks like a pretty good fish on him. That's a good name, Jerry.
It's a good one. Safety.
Well, so I hope it ain't another catfish.
Oh, came off.
Oh, no.
He came off.
No.
Right at the boat.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
We'll never know what it was.
No, but then that way we can make it whatever we want it to be. That's another way to look at it. That's the way I'm going to look at it. I'm going to go back through. I'm going to go back through there, Jerry, because this is a good structure right here. This is where I said I was setting and catching them when that boat was right there. So we're on a good location. So.
To it, whatever it was.
Yeah, it was. Daggone it.
It did roll like a catfish. I don't think that was a catfish.
Now, that pull looked to me like a hybrid. I mean, it would be my guess was a hybrid the way he was pulling. But, you know, come here, boy. Smallmouth. Whoop. This daggone camera. Reel. Every once in a while, it'll skip a tooth for some reason. Huh? Come on, boy. There's another one down there, Jerry. There's something down there at 39 feet. Oh. Come here, boy. You pretty boy. Get back down there. All right, so that bar comes straight out this way, okay? It might look like it's supposed to go the other way, but it don't. And right below us right now, there is something. I don't know what, at 44 feet. I don't know what that is. But I did see that one fish there on the screen. And he come right up and hit. But we are off the side of the bar. We actually need to be back in that way a little bit. We're off the side of it now. And that little cove I was telling you about, Jerry, was set right straight ahead of you. See, it's a saddle straight ahead of you. They come out, see that marker buoy out there right in line with the boat dock? Yeah. All right, you can actually see a few weeds sticking up way out there. Or treetops, do you see them? Look just to the left of the boat dock, right even with that marker buoy. You can see the brush sticking up. All right, there's a saddle there, and that another bar comes out over here, comes it way down here. Rocky Point comes off over here, and this little old cove back in there. When the lake's down, it's just little old cove, and a pretty little old cove. Every time we drove down the side of this bar, just about every pass you'd make, you'd catch a good hybrid or striper or something. And then people sitting right back in there, right in that little cove. You'd never see anybody sitting out here on this darn point. And it was a good little place right here. In other words, when the fish are dormant and they go deep and dormant, the first ones that's going to be active, they're going to come up on some kind of structure and they're going to be deep. And if you're fishing down there in that deep water, you meet them. Now, they may pass you up and going up toward the shallows. You follow them in, you follow them in, you follow them out. But it's just plain old common sense. Now, a decent sized fish, a mature fish, spends almost none of his time, maybe just 1 or 2% of his life will he spend in water less than 5 or 10 foot deep. He's going to be in deep water most of the time. So you want to spend most of your time at least trying to fish, if you fish for big fish, where they spend most of their time. Now, if you go out and you find good fish in less than 10 feet of water, that don't happen very often. Out of a year's time, that won't happen very many times. Look at this mess. God dang fishing line. Ah, Lord mercy.
Treble hook hooking up on top of the lid.
Do what, buddy?
How come it always hooks right there?
I don't know. That's one thing that aggravates the hound out of me, done it. And the only way that I found I can stop it, which I do get aggravated enough to do one, I put a number 10 hook on it, smaller hook, which I got number 8s on it right now. I got 8s on the front and 6 on the back just because of that reason. But
do you need any lead?
Huh?
Do you need lead?
Yes, sir.
I will bring you, I don't know whether it's 1 or 2 or 3 patties of it, blocks.
Yeah, buddy, I need lead.
You need lead, I'll bring you some.
You can go and buy blade baits, $4, $5, $6, $7, $8, $10 a piece, you know, that they've just fancy colored up and first one thing and another. Or you can do like I do, you can order the blanks from Do It Molds and just mold them up, you know. The blanks are like, I don't know, like $30 or 25 bucks a hundred or something like that. Then you put your hooks and stuff on them. Jerry, there is something at 40 feet below us right at the moment. There is a fish down there.
Yes,
Two up.
North Carolina, he does Cerakote business. He does that for a living.
See what?
Cerakotes, gun parts,
Oh.
all that. I mean,
Oh, Cerakote stuff?
Cerakote.
Yeah.
He has got that down to a science. Or take him some of them damn blanks down there and get him to color them up, Cerakote them, all different colors. Man.
Well, see, I never bothered, hardly ever bothered to color in it. I've got some in there that I painted, painted, but I never use them. Just use plain Jane. That's like all these crazy spoon plugs and stuff I use. I don't care what color they are. They don't matter. Even though on one of the videos I've catching some bass trolling over there, one of them first places that Menu started, and broke a hook off one up. So I just got out another totally different color and put it on. I said, I don't care what color it is, just where it's run. It went right back to catching them with different colors. It don't matter. But me and old John Lilly, now he was a big color man. Do you remember John? Old John, he was big on colors. And so we got to the point when we go fishing together, I'd go through his tackle box and find the ugliest color he had, and that's what he had to use. And he went through my tackle box and found the ugliest color that I had, and that's what you had. That's how we got rid of our ugly colors. But you find out them ugly colors caught just as much as your favorite colors did. But So now I'm pretty much down now anymore. I use shag color, if you got such a thing, silver, and I really like bright chartreuse for certain circumstances.
Right.
Certain sectors, I really like chartreuse a lot.
Pumpkin praise, everything, and watermelon and green pepper.
Yeah, I don't even own one. I don't reckon.
Shit, you gotta have one of them in your arsenal.
I mean, you look through some of that plastic stuff, there might be one, but I can guarantee you I ain't never caught fish on it because I ain't used it. But I'm not saying it won't work. Of course it'll work. But when it comes to color, I like Buck's idea.
Well,
If you got a favorite color, use it. Ain't gonna hurt nothing. You know, if you got a favorite color, use it.
I got it hung up.
And I like
Used to be on cherry seed. I love cherry seed U-tail worms, 6-inch worms. I just love it. They just,
what you got confidence in.
you know, and I tie it on 90% of the time. That's what I had on. And then it kind of went dead. It wasn't catching anything. And I got on smoked purple.
Call what?
Smoked purple. Shit, I couldn't catch fish unless I had a smoked purple. Worm.
Is this
You
plastic?
couldn't find no damn smoked purple.
Is this plastic worms you're talking about?
Yeah.
Hell, we're liable to get run over if that guy don't watch where he's going. Maybe he saw us. I think he saw us. Did they catch fish?
Oh, yeah. But then it went dead.
You know what?
You know, I got on that smoked purple when we was down there in Bird Hill. We wasn't catching shit. And we pulled up there on a steep cliff bank. And I had that smoked purple. Threw it up
Whoa.
there and got into the spots. Must have caught 30 or 40 spots. Just in a stretch of bank, it wasn't 50 yards from it. So that sold me on that smoked purple. I came out here to Holston and I caught a few fish on smoked purple. It seemed to be great. And then it went down. I couldn't buy a damn fish on smoked purple. I threw it back in the tackle box. Then I got on June Day. That son of a bitch went dead. So I went back to green pumpkin last week, and I did catch 4 or 5 fish on green pumpkin. So that's my favorite this week.
Well, me, I don't pay no attention to color hardly at all. I mean, the reason that I like the chartreuse is under darker water conditions and darker conditions, I just think it shows up better. So I think the fish can see it easier. So if I think the fish need a little help in seeing it, then I go to chartreuse. But other than that, I just use whatever the hell I got on, and 90% of the time it'll be shad or silver. It works. I don't need no more. And you were talking about plastic worms and stuff, were you? I could count on both my hands the number of fish that I've caught plastic worms. I don't fish plastic worms. They're just not effective very often, so I just don't use them. Like, they're a jump type lure. So when fishing conditions call for a jump type lure, you have to fish them too damn slow. I can cover a whole bunch more territory with this blade bait than I can a plastic worm. That's why I use this, because I can cover more territory and use various speeds, a lot more so than I can a plastic worm. There are times when, yes.
Don't buy any, because I got you set up. You go down to North Carolina.
Did you ever know Judge Ladd, Dick Ladd, the judge? Old Judge Ladd. Back when man come out with the jelly worms and stuff like that,
yeah.
He gave me grocery bags full of jelly worms from 4 inches to look like snakes. You know, look like snakes. And I said, thank you, and never did catch fish on them. You know why? Because I didn't use them. If I'd have used them, it'd caught fish. I just didn't use them. Now, John Lilly, oh boy, he was big on them plastic worms. He loved them plastic worms. And when I started telling him, I just never did use them. When we first started fishing together, after a while, John, he said, you know, he said, I thought when we first started, said, that guy thinks he's going to outfish me. He got nothing. He said, because I told him I did not use this, that, or the other, you know. And then after a while, I loved old John. He was a character. He'd come out and he'd just sit there.
Watch it.
He'd sit there and smoke cigarettes and drink coffee till you locate the fish. Then he'd just start that grinning, shaking that head. He'd say, I swear, you're the best I ever seen at locating fish. And I'd say, and you're the best I ever seen at catching them. I mean, I could locate them. Doing a big old bass or striper or something hit, you know how I set the hook? Just like I would on a 3/4 pound test on a brown trout on it. I just barely raised my rod. Don't sink the hook. I lose more goddamn fish than you can shake a stick at. That surely must be a limb. But that boat wave made it feel like a fish, but it has to be a limb. People, somebody asked me about, said, do you fish umbrella rigs or Alabama rigs? And I said, no, don't own one, never owned one, but I own one now because last trip I was out, I pulled one of them up off the bottom of the lake. So I now own an Alabama rig. Now, Jerry, answer me a freaking logical question. You may be an Alabama rig man. So
I don't wouldn't throw one if I.
it's a freaking Alabama rig. It's got 7 jigs on it.
Yep.
And only one of them had a hook on it.
Yep.
What the heck?
Moxie school of minnows.
Huh?
Moxie school of minnows going through.
Well, I know that, but there's 7 jigs, only one hook.
So what's your chances of that? You know.
6 of them don't even have a hook on them. You know, 6 out of 7, if they hit it, you ain't gonna catch them at all because there's no hook on them. Now, I was looking up Tennessee rules and regulations. You can't have more than 3 hooks on a lure. So if you're using the Alabama rig, it's got 7 jigs on it. You could have hooks on 3 of them, but this one only had a hook on 1. I thought, well, that just don't make sense to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm old-fashioned.
I wouldn't drag one of them out. Throw it.
Well, you see people all over this lake, they're throwing them for a pass. That's the number one thing you see people throw. Alabama rig. There's one decent fish at 30 feet, and I have no earthly idea. He's 10 foot up off the bottom. What he is, I don't know. Now, we followed this bar out to, we're at 45 feet right now. We've come straight off this way, the bar comes straight out this way. We're 45 feet. And the only thing on it so far has been one smallmouth. Conditions being what they are, I'm going to follow it on out a little deeper. You know, Buck Perry, when he, you know, started coming up with his ideas and stuff, was in the 1940s. And he rarely fished below 35 feet. He said, you know, most of your fishing didn't need to be, you just find a structure, go out 35 feet. Well, over the years, I guess weather's changed, more cold front, I don't know what it is. Anyway, Don Dixon said where he was catching all kinds of fish at 15 feet, then 20 feet, then 25 feet, then 30 feet, and it just having to constantly fish deeper. And so there toward the last, Buck had changed it from 35 feet, it moved it all the way down to 60 feet. And I think that's true, because I catch Boone Lake, this lake, back when you and I first met, you never needed to fish more than 12 feet. There wasn't a fish below 12 feet. Now I catch more feet below 40 feet than I do anything else. So it's all changed. Everything's changed. So now when I've got my phone app that I study my lakes with, I've got the contour shaded down to 60 feet. So when I pull it out, that shaded down to 60 feet will make the better places jump out at you, you know. So instead of having to look at all the contour lines on the whole lake, if you got them at 60 foot when highlighted, it'll show you where you need to be fishing. Even though you might not even fish down 60 feet.
How do you do that, on your depth finder or on your phone? What do you think?
Either one. I can do it on my depth finder, but generally I don't do it on my depth finder. I usually do it on my phone.
What kind of app is it?
Navionics. Huh?
I don't know anything about that.
Navionics. Well, I'll show you here in a second. All right, I'm just going to let us drift here, man. I'm just going to shut the trolling motor off. Pull this up slightly off the bottom and just let it drift for a minute. I got this app right here. That app right there, Navionics Boating. All right, pull it up, and this is, I've got it set blue is 60 foot. All right, now, here's a place that I want, when I find the right one, get out of here. Now, this is a bar that comes out. Now, I'm coming right along this long bar. There's a little hump right here. Here's a long bar, comes off, there's a shallow, just 19 foot deep saddle. May once in a while hold fish, okay, but it's kind of shallow saddle. But he come up to this point, that's 17 foot deep. Coming out along the bar, you come to another saddle and a narrow point right here. Now I've caught, that's in the area where I caught the big smallmouth, or walleye. And I've caught several walleye right here, okay? I've caught several of them right through this narrow point on that bar. But just yesterday or day before one, I was sitting here looking at this and I thought, holy moly, wait a minute. Right here on the narrow point of this bar, look at that drop off right there. It's 30 feet on top. It drops to 51 foot in a very short day. And this, see that little flat right there? You see that little flat area? Between that open line between those contour lines, that little flat, see what I'm talking about?
Yep.
All right, look right down here. There's another one at 72 feet. With these, from that saddle at 30 feet, you drop to right at 50 feet real quickly. Then there's another break line right here at 50 feet that drops down to 72 feet. You ain't gonna tell me that I ain't gonna wear walleyes out right there and right there. But you can use this. You sit there and like, here's the saddle. How deep's that saddle? The saddle's 30 feet. I have caught many a walleye trolling right out across there, okay? In the hot spot, there's been one hot spot right up here. Occasionally, they'll be up right in here. I've caught several right in here, but I catch more right through this area right here. And using that, looking at it, I had it pulled up so far, I didn't really see what was going till I highlighted that 60 foot in blue. And man, all of a sudden that just jumped out. It was a holy crap. Right there where I've been catching more walleye than anywhere that I've caught. Anywhere on the lake. Look what's right there. That drop off run right down to that little flat. And then another. Now, if this is true, if Navionics ain't lying to me, and that's actually made that way, you should be able to load the boat with walleyes right there. If they're not lying to me. And the maps that's wrong. But most of the time it's right. But if this down here is made anywhere like Navionics is showing it, if it is, and I know that I have caught a lot of, wherever I'm at, if I never find myself again, I know that I have caught many a walleye right there. Right there. I've caught more numbers right through here, right through this, from that hump to that bar. I caught them right through, and most of them right out in here. If this is true, the hot spot is right here. There's two hot spots. You'll be right along that break line. You'll be right along this break line. See how flat and the far apart the contour lines are? And then right here, they're right together. That means steep drop off down to this little flat. You come across that little flat, and then, my God, they drop off steep again to this. Turn it. Get off there. To that flat. Then there's another drop off that drops off into that 100 and so feet of water. So you know you got plenty of depth. You know, you've got plenty of depth there. My God, that ought to be wonderful. And then where I caught the biggest, the 7 pound walleye was out there off of that bar. I caught him about right there, right where this. Okay, see the contour lines coming close together right here, right out on this flat bar. He'd come from right in there, trolling right around through that point right there, 7 pounder. But the more you study these, the more you learn. And see that? We're gonna go right over we're gonna go where it's right here. It's a rocky hump, and we're gonna fish. Make a circle around that rocky hump. Just see if there's anything laying off of it. You're up to 40 feet now. Right on the edge, right on a 40-foot break line, right on the edge of that hump. I mean, there should be some fish here. Now, whether they're going to cooperate with us, we don't know. They ain't been anywhere else, but it's a good spot. This time of the year, 40 foot, I mean, my God, it's a 40-foot break line off of a hump. This ought to be red hot if it'd move up out of that river channel to it. Just ain't done it. He's fishing on a goddamn jet ski. Did you see that?
I've seen it. I ain't believe it.
I mean, he had rods and reels on a.
I did see it.
I've never seen that before. Rods and reels on a jet ski. No, I wouldn't have believed that if I hadn't saw it with my own eyes. That's probably one that stocked last year, the Florida strain, not this year's stocking. They grow like a weed, they grow fast.